Hello, everyone. Sangat Astrology here once more to talk about the first part of December now. December, we are at the end of 2022. Can you believe it? And we're still dealing with astrology and using it in order to make better decisions and improve our lives. So if you like to learn more about astrology, learn with me, study with me. I have a complete course, introductory, but in-depth astrology with a syllabus that you can receive if you email me. I have the complete program for the course, including the nodes of the moon that are not taught by most teachers, and eclipses. So it includes everything, including that. So and otherwise you can read me at satsangatastrology.blogspot.com. I am publishing articles already about the 2023 year and all the changes and shifts of energy that are coming up. And you can also see me on the social media described here. Here is my contact information, my email address, where we can exchange messages. So now I'm going to show you the chart for the Gemini full moon. And just a minute. So sorry about that. I needed to silence my phone. Here you see the chart for the full moon in Gemini. So remember that full moons are the completion of the cycle, or the culmination, I would say better, of the cycle. In this case, it started with a new moon in Sagittarius at 1 degree of Sagittarius. Now we have a full moon at 16 degrees of Taurus. Of Gemini, together with Mars, right? The previous one was in Taurus. The previous full moon was in Taurus with Uranus. Now we have Mars retrograde and out of bounds, and very close to the Earth. So this is a super powerful, if I can say the least, of the full moon, with all the energy of the moon, and the moon is also out of bounds. Plus, the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is also out of bounds. So, and I'm going to give you the dates and everything. But for now, let's take a look of a general look, an overview of the chart. We see that we have a great number of mutable energy here. And we also have the element of fire is predominant. So we have mutable, we have fire, we have inspiration, we have the need to go and do things, right? And those fire energies are located in Sagittarius and Aries predominantly. And we have a mutable energy located in Sagittarius again, Pisces, and Mercury. And we have kind of a T-square here. And if you have points or planets in Virgo, that will balance this energy. And you can use that Virgo energy in order to solve, this three-leg table that is so unstable. You can give it stability with the Virgo energy. Okay, so other than the full moon being culmination of this present monthly cycle, it is also the culmination of a 6 months moon period that it started with a new moon in Gemini, and that occurred on May the 30th, 2022. And you may refer back to either the news or your journal about that new moon and what was happening in your life at that time, and you might see completion or something coming up in reference to what was happening back then. So again, the mutable energy for this month in general, the time that the sun transits Sagittarius, it is a time of adaptation, of flexibility, of adjustments to the events that were happening when we had all that fixed energy in the signs of Scorpio and Taurus and Aquarius. So we were kind of entrenched in our views and our actions, and we have a hard time moving, right, and making a decision. But now with the mutable, we see other possibilities. Mutable signs usually find all the possibilities that they can consider, and it is also a time of transition, right? We are transitioning to the change of the winter in the northern hemisphere and the summer in the southern hemisphere. So we have this period of transition that we are using these planets, right? This full moon, the new moon in Sagittarius, or the moon cycle of Sagittarius, and the energies that are transiting Pisces as well. So it is a period, as I said, of transition. Now, the sun in Sagittarius is very stimulated by this Jupiter at the last degree of Pisces. There is a certain urgency of action, of finishing this Jupiter job in the sign of Pisces, or the house where you have Jupiter transiting. So there is a 29th degree. Why is it a critical degree? Because you are wrapping up things. You are with this urgency to complete something, complete a task. So now Jupiter will be moving into Aries pretty soon. I think on the 22nd of the month, and this sun is infused with this optimism, generosity, the compassion as well, right? And also morality and the ethics, right, of the spirituality. So it's a sun that is thinking of also the festivities of the end of the year. It is generosity, and be careful of over optimism, because we have Venus applying to the square to Jupiter, so there could be overspending and over romanticizing situations, right? And also Mercury is also in square with Jupiter at the world point, 1 degree of Capricorn. So we have both of them, or the midpoint between both Venus and Mercury is squaring Jupiter. So we have this over optimism, too much, too good, and it is a good aspect to have a higher perspective about values, about resources, money, and deals with money, right? Because it's Mercury and Venus. And there is a lot of talk about expenses, about resources, about finances, and enrollments. Why not? This is, but you could fall into exaggeration of things. Uh, Talking about those issues, you may exaggerate. It is kind of a double-edged, aspect. And we need to consider that because Mercury is the ruler of this moon, right? And as I said, talking about the moon, we have moon and Mars out of bounds. What does it mean? Well, here on the zodiac, you see the measures of longitude, right? Around, let's say, around the equator. But when we talk about declination and being a planet being out of bounds, as you see here, 24 degrees 59, we are talking about latitude. And we are talking exceeding the latitude of the variation of the ecliptic, which is the transit of the Earth around the sun, right? But we see it from our Earth perspective. We see the ecliptic as being the sun, right? Rotating around the Earth. Now, we have not only conjunct, but we have both parallel because they are both out of bounds, and counter parallel the ruler, which is Mercury in opposition, and Venus. So we have here Mars out of bounds, we have the moon out of bounds. So we have this emotional, aggressive, or irritable energy that is completely out of control. And it may be very stressful. It may be very irritable. It could be explosive. There could be a surge of aggression, right, in the environment. Gemini, and in relationships, because always oppositions between planets manifest or are projected or are reflected in relationships. There could be rivalry, competition, right? Mars is very competitive, especially in arguments, because we're talking about Gemini, a sign, an air sign in the axis of the mind, right? Sagittarius, the higher mind, and Gemini, the practical mind. So there could be arguments and rivalry, competition between couples or anyone. In fact, it could be siblings, it could be relatives that engage in verbal arguments, and even stressful in, for example, in driving in the streets. And what is squaring that is Neptune. So Neptune introduces the factor of confusion, disorientation, disillusionment, and even deception, right? If you are triggered by a deception, of course, you are going to have an argument with your partner, for example, or whoever it is that is lying to you, or you discover that you have been deceived by someone, then there could be an argument. So it is a very, very stressful full moon, even though it's not considered a crisis full moon, but take into account that it is very close. It is very high in the high passing the ecliptic. So this moon is out of bounds, and out of bounds means that the planet acts a lot like itself, right? So if it is the moon, it's super emotional. If it is Mars, is super irritable and aggressive even. But it could be assertive, right? You may take advantage of this energy to say what you have to say. For example, to be brave in standing your position, in defending your opinion. So it could be good for that. However, be careful not to be misled by this Neptune energy and supported and expanded by Jupiter. Jupiter that is trying to urgently finish his job in Pisces. So and for your information, the moon will be out of bounds from December the 7th, the day of the full moon, to December the 22. No. To December the 12th, sorry, December the 12th or the 11th. And also during the new moon in Capricorn will also be out of bounds from December the 22nd to the 25th. So it's just a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, but it coincides with the full moon in Gemini and the new moon in Capricorn. Now Mars is out of bounds, and it started on October already, before the eclipse, right? It was October 23rd, and it was already out of bounds during the eclipse period, and will be also out of bounds until May 3rd, 2023, which means that Mars not only will be in retrograde and retrograde shadow, and etc., but it has been out of bounds during this last eclipse season, and will be during the next eclipse season in March and April. So Mars is very significant in the sky at the moment. Now, Mercury, which is the ruler of this full moon in Gemini, it is out of bounds since November the 25th until December the 21st. And it will become visible in the sky around the 14 of the month until the 24th of December. From 14 to 24th of December will be visible. It's rarely visible, but according to the ancients, Mercury visible helps us, gives results to our practical, intellectual, and logical work. Everything that Mercury represents. But during the new moon in Capricorn will still be out of bounds, right? With the moon and Mars. So this full moon, there are the three of them are out of bounds. During the new moon, the three of them will be out of bounds. So and as I said, it is in square to Jupiter, and it will be the new moon will be at the same degree that Mercury is today in the full moon, at 1 degree. So the new moon will be at the same degree that Mercury is, right? Mercury would have advanced, but this is the degree. It means that there are some conversations that are already foreshadowing what is coming what is coming up in the new moon in Capricorn, 23rd of December. So we are already talking about what is coming up and the changes that we will make. And, you know, it's a cardinal moon. So you can expect changes on the world axis, on the world point. So this Mercury is already talking about it. And talking a lot, as I said, because it's square Jupiter. So it might be talking a lot more than it wants to. Now, Venus is becoming visible at 20 degrees Sagittarius, but it will be out of bound as well since December the 2nd to December 23rd. So everything Venusian, including romance, money, finances, food, resources, love, friendship, peace, harmony, everything will be out of the chart, off the chart, right? Because planets, when they are out of bounds, they act more like obsessively themselves, right? And it's an excessive energy of itself, an excessive Venus, an excessive Mars, or excessive Moon. So we have in fact 4 planets out of bounds. So it is pretty intense kind of energy and exaggerated at times. So also we have Venus, as I said, the midpoint between Venus and Mercury is Jupiter, which can give this exaggeration of the energy in conversations of matters of Venus, right? So I already mentioned that, but as I said, it is an inflated full moon. It's like to the point of exploding, because it's so much intensity in the sky. And you add the square to Jupiter, and you get a blown out full moon, right? So on the side, we have the in conjunct between the sun here and Uranus here, that is about 15, 16, almost 16 degrees, but retrograding. And this quincunx gives the individuals and authorities as well this urge to be free, to not so lack of tolerance for the freedom of others, for example. And it's an aspect that needs adjustments. The person needs to learn to resist conformity, for example, to resist compliance to the rules, etc. And also there is an urgency to develop tolerance of the difference that one has with others. So, but it gives originality and inventivity to the creativity. And it can give you the sense of that you want to compete for the innovation of things, and also compete for intellectual achievements. And this is also looking for intellectual independence, right? I think what I think, and I know what I know, and no matter how much you tell me that I am wrong, but this is what I want to believe. So it's kind of an obstinate kind of energy. that may be detrimental in relationships, but it gives way to the possibility uh, to have abstract thinking and concepts, to grasp abstract concepts. It's highly idealistic. And the problem is that it promotes a conflict in social environments with groups, because this sense of individuality is not matching the purpose of the group, right? So it has a hard time finding acceptance in the group because the person wants to be independent, and I am me, and I don't want to conform to the group's purpose, right? So it can be kind of edgy energy. Now we have also something interesting here, that Pluto is directly opposite Black Moon Lilith, and I don't show it here, so let's see if I can display it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. And it's almost exact by a few minutes. In fact, 29 minutes of orb. So it's pretty exact. This opposition is kind of challenging because, especially in relationships, there could be issues in family cancer, family relationships, like power struggles, and that members of the family are demanding respect for their own power, right? And when there is an imbalance and one person in the family or in the relationship is taking advantage or trying to dominate the other part, then the relationship with this aspect with Black Moon can break, and it can break forever. It could be irreparable. And if as I said, if the relationship is not fair, it could end. So it is an aspect that holds the parties on the relationship to higher values, to higher morals, and to the truth, right? And the Black Moon in Cancer is also the fear of abandonment, the fear of not belonging. So there could be issues that some other person is so dominant that this person doesn't have a place to belong to this relationship or family dynamic. So it is, there are these two challenges where the oppositions here, the opposition, of course, with the moon, and the quincunx between the sun and Uranus that are very challenging, tense aspects. So there could be a tension in the air. And as I said, Mercury, the ruler of the moon, is already announcing something that has to do with the new moon in Capricorn already. So I hope this overview of the full moon gives you some idea of how to navigate this kind of energy, and hopefully you use the energy to make decisions about your life, right? And if you are interested in learning more, of course, contact me. I would be curious to know what happened to you during this full moon or during this full cycle. Since it started in Sagittarius, we need to take a look at the moon, the full moon, as part of a cycle, right? It's not isolated. It forms first crescent square, which is the time when the moon will, and that's about the beginning of the month, November 30th. The moon is the quarter square, and then the full moon, and then the waning square. Those moments are crucial in the moon cycle. And if you keep a journal, you can track those moments and find out how it went, especially at the end of the cycle. You can see the results. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great full moon and moon cycle. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.